What up, y'all? It's your boy Will here at Tostones Gaming. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm gonna need you to do a couple of things, alright? I'm gonna need you to unpack, grab a snack, and lean back, alright? It's good vibes only. So this is the first in a brand new series I'm doing called Snacks and Strats, and it's gonna be complementing my Tactics Ogre Let's Play videos, as well as giving you guys a little bit of guidance on how to play the game better, how to improve your runs. They're really bite-sized videos. See what I did there? Bite-sized and that stuff. Anyways, they're really gonna be designed to be digestible, easy to consume, and I've got it broken down by overall purpose of the class. Then after that we go into build types and different type of gear options that they have, and then what type of synergy do they have with other troops. Today we're gonna be looking at the warrior class. It's one of the first classes available in the game, and they can equip a variety of weapons, so that makes them super valuable, and I think they can help on any team you're running. I think warriors are their best when they are supporting your front line, either chipping away at the enemy, spreading status, picking off weakened foes, or punching a hole through the defense. However, they're not as bulky as knights, so you're gonna have to equip them accordingly, depending on your team and your situation. But they do get targeted by magic quite a bit, in my personal experience. They've got a lot of armor options too. They're pretty extensive. You can build them up to be a little bit more beefy, or you can load them down for avoid-based builds and counter-hit based builds. They can dodge and hit, things like that. What is their best role? Personally, I think that is spreading status. They've got two unique skills that really define them as a class. The first is Mighty Strike, and the second is Double Strike. Specifically, the first one, Mighty Strike, you spend 40 TP, and you guarantee that your next hit actually hits, and that it deals critical damage. Now, why is that important? Because weapons have debuffs that they can apply when they hit. I like my warriors to be spreading status. I like them to be equipped with an axe so that they can hit with breached, and what breached does is it lowers their defense. You don't have to go with axes. You can do hammers too to inflict stun, and like in Pokemon, you can have your turn wasted by paralysis. You can also equip them with the hammer side grade, which allows them to inflict delay on opponents. I know Coffee Potato loves his spear builds. Spear build, I don't really see the hype with the spears. I mean, you can hit two people at once, and so that's why I'm highlighting it, because their second skill, Double Strike, you basically spend 100 TP to attack twice. Now, usually you're gonna be wanting to use that up on a finisher, but depending on the ideal situation, you've got two units that are lined up and your spear goes pop pop, you hit both of them, right? Now with Double Strike, it allows you to hit a second time. So not only are you hitting two enemies, you're hitting them double the amount of times, and depending on what the situation is, how much HP they have, are they squishies, are they really beefy units? If they're squishies, ooh, that's gonna be perfect, because you're gonna deal a whole lot of damage, and maybe after that your berserker comes in and just picks them off, or maybe you can fall back a little bit, heal up your mages and your archers because you're feeling comfortable. They also have Squash, which like I alluded to earlier, it allows them to remove hazards from the field. So let's say your front line has like a ton of phalanxes from opposing knights, and your dudes can't even progress now. Well, you put your warrior up there, you go Squash, boom, like all that joint is gone. So that's beautiful, and it's really cheap too. And then they have another last supporting move called Vigorous Attack. It grants True Strike and Dodge in the area. So your dudes can have a boosted chance to dodge hits, and they have a little boost to their accuracy as well. So let's dive right into the spear build I've got here. We've got a two-handed spear that's going to give us an additional parry point. You see here it's not that heavy, and we got a little bit of avoidance as well. Next we got a helmet on us, because helmets provide a HP boost, a nice defense boost, and a resistance boost. So so it helps us against magic. But you can see, look at his magic defense over here. It's still not that good. Heavy Lorica we've got here gives us, you know, stacks the HP. So he's kind of a heavy dude. You know, I think his RT is like, it's 0 right now because it's his turn. But RT over here is, I think 102 or something like that. And then we've got the Seal of Might to give us a little attack boost as well. His skills, we've got Spears ranked up to 8. We've got Squash, Vigorous, Mighty, Double like I mentioned. Tactician 2 is going to help him restore his TP a lot faster. We've got Parry, Counter Hit, and Lead Ward. Specifically, this dude is a winged guy, so Lead In is gonna really ground him and hurt him. And then we've got Reflect Magic 2, which just reflects 20% of the damage done by a spell. So we're gonna go through both situations with the spear build. We've got our guys here nicely lined up, and Tammuz has a ton of statuses on him, but it's still gonna work regardless. If we want to go for the Mighty Strike, right, to guarantee the crit, here it is. Boom. Left the first lizard guy over here on the top, left him just outside of death. Look at that. Boom. Now if we want to go for the double hit, use up 100 TP. We still got the crit on the other guy, the lucky crit. But just goes to show you that, you know, with the spears, you can open up your opponents. And yeah. So here we got a situation where we've got an axe build. Right, I'm going with the one-handed axe. Inflicts breach. I've got the shield up for some avoid and some defense. Got 505 defense. That's pretty good. And we've got the same equipment as last time. And in this situation, we're gonna go for Mighty Strike to get the guaranteed crit and the breach status too. And we're gonna go over to this squishy right here. And look how we open up the defense. 280 damage, and they're breached. They're done for. Next hit, they're done. But yeah, you see the power, man. You see the power. They can open up the front line, or if you're flanking around, you know, getting these squishy guys like in this situation, it's a pretty decent outcome, man. Here we've got a different setup with Tammuz. I decided to go with an avoid-based build, so he's not as beefy, he's not as defensively oriented. His magic defense, you see, is 314. That's a little on the sus side. But you know, we've got this claw build. It's gonna give us avoid, 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 and then a little bit of dexterity to boost our attack. This inflicts envenomed on hit, and envenomed, as you know, takes considerable poison damage at regular intervals. Our skills are a little bit different too. I took out the double strike ability because it's a little bit expensive, and with this guy we're really just going to be spamming Mighty Strike. He's going to be in the front lines in the heat of battle. He's going to be getting targeted because of his weak defenses, and every time he gets targeted, he's either going to avoid and counter hit, or he's going to get hit, generate TP with Tactician, and then just be able to spam off Mighty Strike, Mighty Strike, Mighty Strike. It's going to guarantee poison goes off every time, and it's going to guarantee we do crits. So hopefully it allows us to weaken down the enemy, and our other boys can take the W. So here we are. We've got Mighty Strike activated. We're ready to go in. Let's see. Everybody here is at full health pretty much. Let's go over here. 210, and he's poisoned now. We're gonna keep Mighty Strike loaded. We're just gonna keep firing off Mighty Strike. We're doing crits every time for 200 damage on these guys, and they're not slouches either. Minus 22. Boom, you see, look at all the damage they're taking, man. You go throughout a battle, you know, and they're poisoned. 5 turns go by, they take 100 damage. That's crazy, man. Here you see, at the end of his turn, 21, 21. They've taken at least 40 damage already. So it adds up, and it adds up pretty quickly. Hit her for 274, and she's poisoned. So it's really 274 plus 20. That's 294 plus 20. Again, that's 314. So it adds up, man. The claw build is no joke, man. So anyways, that's enough of that. This one is a dagger build, and this warrior, he's gonna be less of a powerhouse and more of a utility-based unit. So we've got the dagger here, of course, which on his is gonna inflict bound. That means those dudes can't move anywhere. You've got the parry bonus as well as the defense bonus here with the shield. You've got another parry bonus with the helmet. You've got an avoid-based chest piece, which you know, it's got a decent defense amount and a little bit of HP, but it's mainly oriented for avoidance. And then we've got the seal of finesse, which gives us dexterity, and that is good for daggers. So for his skills, we've got daggers, augment lightning because he's got a lightning dagger. We've got counter hit 3 because I want to be let me not get ahead of myself. We've got siege. So let's say they've got a knight in their front line. Now that rampart aura doesn't matter, I can just sneak behind them, right? So once I'm in the enemy's face, I can abuse counter hit as well as my parry bonus and my avoid bonus to, you know, bob and weave and hit them. And hopefully I can inflict bound on them with the dagger, and that'll be good because then they're frozen in place, they can't hit people, and that's a good way to get rid of threats. If I can just bob and weave throughout the whole crowd, you know, abusing Mighty Strike, I can really start doing a lot of damage to them and really immobilizing them. Generate TP, and we're gonna go back again with Mighty Strike. Boom, he's bound, out of the way. I'm just gonna charm him, just because I don't want to deal with him. Now, because he was bound, guys, look at him, he's all the way back there. I got around him. This dude was, you know, busy tangling with this guy, and I've got a phalanx set up, so now they're trapped there. Meanwhile, my little guy over here can't move through water. So here I've got the last build of the day. Whip warriors are super cool. So whips have false strike, which means the opponent's melee accuracy is going to be reduced. I built this guy to be really beefy just because he can hit from 2 tiles away, so he's not going to be, you know, taking that much head-on damage anyways, and I think it just helps for survivability. Like, he double hit me and I'm still living. Still living, and I'm slowed too from this damn wizard over here. Just weaken this guy. Took off half his HP already, man. So like I said, if you can flank them, all the better. Here's a little bit more synergy. We're gonna do Lament of the Dead on these 2 guys, and what that does is inflict frightened. Attack and defense are both reduced. And that's a Terror Knight skill. I think Terror Knights pair really well. So, a little bit about this guy's build over here. I gave him max TP 2 because he's got a finisher that's insane with the whip. Armageddon. It's a damage scaling finisher. And you go right here. And you pop that off. 360 damage, 355 damage, man. That's insane. That's insane. So you can really do quite a bit of damage. And the whip gimmick is cool too, man. You know, you inflict false strike and now they can't hit you as often. It's a pretty good trade-off, I'd say. Parry that, whip, push them back. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on the warrior class. As you can see, they're super freaking versatile. They do a ton of damage, and even though they aren't the bulkiest, they can still hang with knights in the front lines, you know. We went over the axe build. You get a whole bunch of utility off that with the breached. You could also do side graded axes to inflict slow. We went over the trolling knife build where you can immobilize people, charm people with the finisher. It's crazy. We went over the spear build. That joint deals a ton of damage. And we went over the whip build, which I didn't even cover earlier, but that's a cool little gimmick too with the false strike. And then the final whip finisher is just freaking batshit insane. So yeah, man, like I said, I think they're super flexible units. I think they synergize well with the knights and the terror knights just because they're so good at controlling the battlefield. If we can flank the opponents, you can kind of get into the mages, and if you hit them, even with just the knife build, man, it deals a ton of damage. 2 hits, the mage is done. And it's crazier because you can do a side grade knife build which steals MP, but that's... I wouldn't put that on a warrior, but you know, whatever floats your boat. I think I'd leave that for something like a ninja or a rogue because they've got more mobility. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts on the warrior class. I hope it was super helpful, and I hope it adds a little bit more value to your playthroughs. Alright, y'all, next time I'm gonna be covering the archer, and you know the archer was top tier broken in vanilla, but not so much in OV. They're pretty good for what they are though. But yeah, more on that next time, y'all. Peace.